What on earth is that giant chart that you have on the wall? This is the Tenchijin. A lot of you have asked questions. Can you go over it with us? Well, it takes a lifetime. I've dedicated my life to learning this thing. This is a beautiful syllabus. It's a beautiful way that Hatsumi Sensei has broken up the basics of the martial arts into these 3 different volumes. So it's called the Tenchijin. You probably heard of that before. If not, it's fantastic to learn. I found this when I was 12 years old, and I've been studying it ever since. And I've barely broken into the secrets of this chart, because once you think you know it, you know you don't know it. And the older you get, you realize how little that you really do know. So every year we go over this, and the last several months we've gone this far, and we're going to continue to go over this. It's a fantastic learning tool that Hatsumi developed. Something that keeps me going every single day. I want to learn more and more about this chart. And as a Westerner, it's very confusing because it's all in Japanese. So you have to learn not only the names in Japanese and English, but you have to learn how they apply to using your body to defend yourself and your family. There are so many things in here that have literally saved my life, not just physically, but mentally. This is enough for 25 lifetimes of knowledge. So if you're bored with it, you are a boring person. There's no way that you can get bored with all of this wonderful, fantastic knowledge that has been passed down to us generation after generation, martial art master to student, over and over again. My gosh, I wake up every day just wanting to crack this chart. And I'll give you a very quick overview of what these different sections mean. But they are meaningless when they hang on the wall. That's why every night, every day, I study this, we come in and we train it on the mats so that this not only sits there in dust, it becomes a living and breathing thing that we evolve and take into the 21st century. So let's you and I go on a quick journey through this chart. I hope you're ready to have your mind blown, because this stuff is daunting. One of the styles we have at the dojo here is from the Bujinkan, which I've been studying since I was just a child. This is, again, the old style, what I call Koryu, classical version of samurai ninjutsu martial arts from Japan, from the 9 lineages. This particular style was created by Hatsumi in the 1970s. The Tenchijin was first published in '83, and that's when I first saw it when I was 13, and then it was modified in 1987. This particular chart is by Arnaud Cousergue, who lives in Paris, France, one of my other teachers, and this is called the Bujinkan Kuma Dojo Tenchijin. Kuma just means polar bear, so that's his warrior name, was given to him by Hatsumi. And I'll go over these sections for those who are interested. Now, the first thing we Westerners want to do, and probably most people around the world, it's human nature to want to collect this and to say, oh, I want that, because by somehow hanging it on my wall, I'm going to be a better martial artist, a more complete person. Nothing could be farther from the truth. So you can get this online. I don't sell these here. I'm not going to tell you how to get it, because if you are a ninja, you will do your intelligence gathering, and you can find different versions of the Tenchijin in book form from different authors, from different teachers in different languages around the world. I have 4 versions myself. This is the chart that I keep on the wall because it's just easy to access when I'm teaching. Like last night we went over several of these, so it's easy to point with a pointer to the students and show them visually. To look at this is very, very overwhelming. It's too much material, too much knowledge. But when you learn just one section at a time, you'll find that your martial knowledge really expands and gets better and better. And it takes a lifetime to learn this, no doubt. What we do is every year we start this, and now we started over in this section, which is the Ten Ryaku. Ten just means sky or heaven. Ryaku means abbreviation, and no Maki just means like it's a volume of a book. So you have the Ten Ryaku, which is the first section. You have the Chi Ryaku, which has to do with the earth. And then the Jin over on the right. And Jin means like humankind or humans. The book volume of the heavens or the sky. You have the earth book or the earth volume, or Makimono, the earth scroll. And then you have the scroll or the book of humankind. Now, the way that they design this is a particular Eastern philosophical way. My opinion is I would have had the Chi on the left because we think of earth as the basics. I would have had the middle be Jin, which is humankind, and I would have had the Ten. I would have put that on the right because Again, we think of heaven and earth as lofty and higher up. So I would have named these differently, but Hatsumi created this in the 70s. And again, you can find this online. So let's close in and look at each of these sections here and see what this is all about. It's a lifetime of exciting knowledge to learn. This first volume, the Akonomaki, is what is highly suggested that people that want to learn this style start with. You shouldn't bounce around. Start here and work your way over. Ten again means heaven or sky. In some cases it means a divine being or a deva. And Ryaku means principle or a section. And Nomaki means volume of a book. Here we have kamai. Everything starts with how you stand, how you hold your body, your mental and physical attitude in defending yourself. All the different kamai here, how you stand. And these could be used in self-defense by themselves. How you shape your body to the situation when you're nervous or scared. How you hold weapons. Your posture, how you move through life. Everything is kamai, so that's the first section. You have Taihen Jutsu, a massive section on how to use your body to absorb the ground so you don't get hurt, how to avoid physical violence, how to use your body and roll and tumble, whether it's forward, backwards, to the side, how to fall when you're being thrown by a judoka or someone and not get injured. All of these different principles in here which take a lifetime to learn. Junan Taiso, stretching your body to make it more supple. Principles, all kinds of different things. How to use your footwork, move your body, and how to absorb danger. Taihen Jutsu Ukemi. So ukemi is used in most martial arts. It's very, very important. A lot of people are afraid of it because they think they're going to hurt themselves. But you must make the ground your ally, your friend. If you trip in the winter time when it's icy, you'll break your bone if you don't know proper ukemi. So we spend a lot of time here because this will save your life. You move up here to ukenagashi, which is how to receive a strike. In some cases, people call it blocking. And then you have your high, middle, and low versions. You have your A, B, C, D, and E here, which is absorb, block, counter, deflect, and evade different strikes coming in at you. Again, this could take a year just to go over this. Endless versions, high, middle, and low. Ski, how to use your body and throw a punch with power behind it, to use your legs. How to integrate. This entire scroll has to do with getting close to the opponent and preparing for battle. Tai Sabaki, how to use your body to solve issues, moving forwards, backwards, to the side. How to be brave like a tiger and move in. Crossing the opponent when they strike you and moving into disappearing ranges and disappearing under the attack and popping up when they least expect it. Taihen Jutsu Muto Dori, how to defend against someone coming at you with a sword. How to gain distance, roll away, and then enter back in and flow like the water. Down here you have your Kyusho, which means your weak points. Some people call them pressure points, but these don't work on everybody. But these, there are 60 here. There are more than that, but 60 weak points of the body that we learn and study anatomy, how to hurt the opponent, how to disable them by striking a certain area, kicking a certain area, or putting pressure on them. So Kyusho are a huge part of our martial art. Moving up to the Shoshin Goke. Again, this is daunting, but if you look at each of these sections, they make sense. They stack upon each other. They're chapters in a book. Think of it that way. When you read Lord of the Rings, you start with the Fellowship and you move forward into the Two Towers, but this is chapter 1. Here we have the Gogyo no Kata, or some people call it the Sanshi no Kata, the 5 different elemental movements teaching you how to move your feet and close distance and move back and forth. Earth, water, fire, wind, and the void. These are the different ways to move your body in taijutsu. Again, last night, which was 12/1, December 1st, we worked on Chino Kata. And for an entire hour last night, we spent with a whole bunch of people here training, and we learned how to move our body and defend and move back and move forward. And we did that in the classical Chino Kata, and then we took it into the 21st century. How do I use this kata and evolve it to a modern fighter who throws hook punches and grapples with you? And then we used it with a weapon as well. So we spent just an hour on that particular movement. Next week we'll do Sui, then we'll do Ka, Fu, then Ku. This will take us into mid-winter. Again, going over this chart here should take a lifetime, and once you go over it, you start back again at the beginning, and then your depth of knowledge increases, and you look at it again and again and again. It cycles through your Budo life. The Kion Happo, these two boxes are the most important part of this particular volume here. The Kion Happo, which are the infinite basics of Budo. Knowing the Kion Happo, and you can understand Taijutsu. So the Koshi Kion Sampo no Kata, the 3 ways to move your body, Ichimonji, Jumonji, Hicho. And then your Torite Kiho, the Kata Goho, the 5 methods of defending yourself when you're being grabbed. All of these principles you've heard before, Omote Gyaku, Uda Gyaku, Hon Gyaku, Muso Dori, Ganseki Nage, Musha Dori, Gosha Dori, Oni Kudaki. Depending on your school, this will change depending on your teacher. Everyone has a different interpretation of the Kihon Happo here. If you learn just 1 per month, it's a really exciting way to go through life. Up here you have the Hokenjuropo, or the 16 treasured fists, and there are of course many more than 16, but these are the treasured attacks of the samurai and ninja. How to use your body to punch and use shuto, boshiken, shitan, all of these ways to strike with your elbow, with your head, with your knee, how to strike with your bones and your entire body here, how to strike with your natural weapons such as your claws and your teeth. This is not a sport, this is about surviving on the battlefield. So the Hokenjuropo are just some of the strikes that we study here at the dojo. Now I realize I'm talking very fast. This is a very technical video, and some of you will be very bored with this. That's very, very understandable. This is very overwhelming for many people. But I just wanted to show you, because people ask me all the time, what is that chart? I wanted to show you a little bit more about it. And I can go on and lecture about this forever. But again, having this chart does us no good unless we practice it physically. This is just a wall reference. Let's look into the Chi Ryaku. Again, Chi means earth. So this is teaching us now we're getting closer to the opponent. We've worked over here for quite a while. We've learned how to punch, how to kick, how to move our body. We learned about rolling and ukemi. Now we're going to move over here and learn when someone's actually attacking you. So the Chi Ryaku stacks on top of the Ten Ryaku. Now, looking here, we have Hajutsu Kyuho. Hajutsu is the encountering, the 9 methods of encountering an opponent. So these are 9 particular methods that Hatsumi Sensei thought were valid in teaching us how to deal with an attacker. He took these from the 9 Ryuha, the 9 schools of Budo. So all of these are interpretations from Hatsumi and his particular version. So we have the 9 different methods, or kyuho, the principles, and how to deal with different types of attacks when someone grabs you here. Again, each of these could take weeks to learn just one of them and all the different henka variations. You have the torite kihon dori no gata, or controlling an opponent on the ground, how to restrain someone. In some different styles, this is called the kime waza roppo, or the 6 different methods. You have the ura and the omote, when the opponent's on his back or on his stomach. How the samurai used to restrain people, how the police officers used to restrain someone and hold them and control them, hence the name Dori. And these are the basic forms. There are many more, and of course Jiu-Jitsu now has really gone into this section better than anybody. But it is in our section as well. We learn how to restrain the opponent in battle in order to disperse of them. And then you have different henka here as well. Methods on restraining the opponent on the ground. And up here you have the Happogeri Henka, or the ways of kicking. So this is teaching us all, don't think of it just as kicking, but how to use the movement of your legs, how to start to use our legs to defend ourselves, push the opponent, kick the opponent, sweep their legs, disrupt their balance and their kuzushi. So this is the Happogeri Henka, or the all-directional movements with your legs. This, again, takes forever to learn, and every day we use this in our training. Gyakuwaza, how to reverse or to overthrow the opponent and turn it back. So gyaku means reverse, opposite. Waza means technique, art, or skill. So these are the different forms of reversing the opponent. Often people mistaken call these wrist locks, but it's much, much more than that. They're entire joint systems of manipulation. You can manipulate the wrists, the elbow, the shoulder to break the opponent's limbs here. So this is how to use the opponent's limbs and joints against them and to reverse their joints, to lock them up and to break them. Moving up here to the nagewaza. Nage means to throw or to take the opponent off balance. So all of these different throws, those of you who study judo will recognize these: osoto gake, harai goshe, gyaku nage, ganseki nage, uchimata, uchigake, hanegoshi nage, takiotoshi, itami nage, using pain to throw the opponent, sitting and standing throws, tomoe nage, the kama throw, how to sacrifice your body, uzumaki, rotating, seoi nage, kuki nage, using an air throw. All these different ways that, again, the martial art of judo has really mastered this section here. In the old days, you wouldn't throw someone like in judo, which is a sport. These were designed against armor, how to use the yoroi, the armor, and to throw the opponent off balance in the mud so that you could stab them with your tanto. So the nagewaza that we do here are not going to be very showy or flashy. They are more for taking the opponent quickly to the ground so that you can escape or stomp on their head, whichever you prefer. That's the nagewaza of Budo. Now here it's teaching us when we get really close to the opponent. We're in grappling distance now, so we have shime waza. Shime means pressure. It also means to bind, to squeeze, to tie up, to strangle, to control. And again, waza just means like a technique or a form or even a principle. So we have the different types of chokes here: honjime, gyakujime, itamijime, sankaku, triple-sided chokes. You have body chokes in here, restraints, how to make someone go to sleep very quickly. So the shime waza and jime as well. Jime means to choke. You have the keri waza here, dealing with kicks, all types of different kicks, using your knees, stepping on the foot, crushing the knee of the opponent, sideways kicks, scoop kicking, kicking from the outside, how to kick from the rear and to turn around and kick someone like a horse. Someone gets you in a bear hug or something, how to crush their foot, stomp on their shin bone. So this is again dealing with the legs of the opponent and how to use our legs to defend ourselves. This chi, the Akonomaki, is a fantastic middle volume of this 3-volume series, and again, I can't say it enough, it's so much fun to learn these with fellow students and teachers over the years and to explore these year after year, decade after decade, and to see what new ways we can create from these principles. You can just take one of these sentences here, one of these little principles, and use it for a month in your dojo. How can we use this particular movement, this particular principle in a modern day fight? And then you add weaponry into it. What if they have a gun or a knife? How do I use this in modern day 21st century America? Once we've covered the basics on how to use our body, our legs, our feet as weapons, how to receive the ground, how to receive different types of attacks, we learn how to counter attacks. Now we enter the Jin Akonomaki. Jin again means human. So the human scroll here, the human book, the human volume, dealing with heaven and earth and what's in between. So here we have suwarigata, and suwari is sitting or stability. What happens when someone attacks you when you're in seiza or fudoza, or even laying down on the ground or sitting in your chair at a booth at a restaurant, how to defend yourself from the ground, because remember in the East, people didn't have comfortable furniture, they sat on the floor. That's why their legs are so flexible and strong. So suwarigata here is fantastic at getting close to the ground. You have torite gata here. Torite, tori, as you know, uke and tori. Tori means an active partner, your training partner, a collector, a performer, a taker. So torite, te is hand, and again gata means kata. So how to deal with someone when they grab or attack you here. All these different types of techniques we have from the different schools of Budo. Hatsumi found that these particular movements, these particular techniques were very powerful at dealing with an opponent who was grabbing or attacking you. And again, there are hundreds more techniques than this, but these are the ones that he picked as he saw fit. Shime gaeshi, so shime we know means to put pressure on someone or to choke them. Gaeshi or kaeshi means to overturn or overthrow, to reverse. So how do I counter someone who's choking me? Someone has me in a sankaku jime or a nightmare choke or a rear naked choke. How to get out of those and escape from those. Or it could even mean, again, someone's grabbing your wrist here, or they're getting you in a bear hug, they're choking you from behind. These different principles from the samurai to escape the opponent's grasp. Ski and kerigata, again, keri means to use your leg or to kick, or keri, same thing. Ski, this just means someone's punching in at you, they're attacking you from a distance. Again, all these katas that we know lovingly from the Bujinkan are fantastic methods of dealing with someone who's trying to punch or kick you from a distance. Koryoku, Musan, all these famous katas that we practice. Gekkan, Moguri Dori, Shiho Dori, Koku, Ryanyo from the Gyokuryu, Sakanagare, Kasasaga, Ko, the bucket throw, all these different cool things. And when someone's kicking you, how to grab their leg, take their balance, or throw them to the ground. Again, right here, you could spend 5 years on and never, ever master it. This is what I love about this stuff, is it's so deep. I've studied 6 different martial arts, and none even compared to the depth of knowledge here. They paled in comparison. This is the ocean of martial arts. And that's why I love to train every day on this stuff. You can never be too good at it. It's impossible. And what a way to go through life. Learning, 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 learning. Living is learning. Nage kaeshi, how to reverse someone when they're trying to throw you. You go up against a judoka and he's trying to throw you or sweep you or whatever he's going to do. How to counter these and use your body to sink your body weight and to drive different things into their bone structure so that they can't throw you. How to use your legs to off-balance the opponent. How to stabilize yourself. How to break their eardrum as they go to throw you because they left their head open. I know this stuff can sound violent, but this is not a sport. This is a life or death martial art that we study, and that's why you have to be careful with it. Keri no tashi, how to reverse or how to deal with someone when they're kicking you, how to counter different types of kicks. Haibu yori, at being attacked from behind. Someone sneaks up behind and you have to learn how to get out of bear hugs and things like that. They grab your hoodie, they grab your necklace from behind, they grab your belt, whatever it is. How to escape. Very, very cool stuff here on ninja. Mutodori, how to defend yourself when you do not have a weapon and they do. You are without a sword, and how to capture their energy, how to capture their anger. And there's just one kata here, but there are many more versions of Ken Nagare that we could use. So the higher levels, we're dealing with someone who had a weapon when you do not. Very difficult stuff. You cannot get there without learning all of this first. Don't cheat yourself and always try to go to the last chapter of the book. Appreciate the chapters that came before it, and then later on get to the last chapters of the book. Then once you close it, you start fresh. Tonso no gata. These are principles from the Togakure Ryu school of ninjutsu here. So tonso, these means the 9 techniques of the Togakure Ryu, which are basically the Sanshin no kata, because you have the first 3 here deal with taijutsu, how to use your body. 4, 5, and 6 deal with mutodori versus a sword. 7, 8, and 9 are principles or strategies at dealing with multiple opponents. How to escape when 3 or 4 people have cornered you. How to use smoke bombs and use the environment to escape, using light and darkness, using the environment as in the forest. How can I use the environment to escape? So this is a pretty cool section here on dealing with the real old ninjutsu of Japan and how to counter the samurai and escape. And moving down to the buki, which people think is the fun part because it has to do with weaponry. Weaponry is very important. Don't let anyone ever tell you that it's stupid to practice weapons in the 21st century. Learning about weapons teaches us about timing, distancing, how to use tools to our advantage in our environment. and how to survive. There are so many hidden secrets and principles in the Bukiwaza. And here you have Hanbojitsu, the art of using the 3-foot short stick. We have entire programs, we have DVDs on this, how to use a cane or an umbrella to defend yourself. You have the Tanto, how to fight with a knife, and how to defend yourself against a knife fighter. If you can't run, you're going to have to do something or you're dead. The Shoto, which means the short sword or the small sword, also called the Wakizashi. Different stances and different techniques defending yourself against someone with a larger sword. Using the kunai, which a lot of you have heard from anime and manga. So the kunai, which was basically a digging tool, but how could you use that to slap the opponent, to throw, to disable the opponent, or to lock him or her up. So you have the kunai, bikenjitsu, which is the art of the sword here, the secret methods of the swords. And there are so many different types of sword schools out there. We have 2 primary that we deal with, which is the Kukishin Ryu and the Togakure Ryu, but all of the basic sword schools of Japan have a lot of these principles in there. But how to stand with a sword, how to hold it, how to put it back in the scabbard, how to slice and stab with it, and how to defend yourself with different techniques against another swordsman. We've gone from sticks and blades back to sticks again. These are pole arms now. We're getting to the bo, which is the large 6-foot staff. How to use a rake or a shovel to defend yourself. And we have the stances of the bow, all the different ways to learn how to become familiar with twisting the bow, to spin it around, and how to do all these different strikes with the bow against the opponent in armor. And then different methods of techniques of using the bow in different types of flows, like goho, uragoho, etc., sashi-ai, funebarai. All of these are different ways to teach you how to move your feet with the weapon, to become familiar with it so that it becomes part of who you are. And then when someone attacks you, you use your weapon and it disappears because you have practiced enough to make it skillful. The jo, which is the medium or the small staff here, which is typically 3 to 4, sometimes 5 feet tall. So we used this last night in class. The jo, which is probably one of the coolest weapons because you can use it as a stick or a sword. All the different stances of the jo and the different katas that you learn. And over here we have the super long pole arms like the yari, which is the Japanese spear. How to use the spear to remove someone from the horse. How to pierce the armor. How to stand with the spear. How to twist and throw it. All these different techniques with the spear. And the naginata, the beautiful pole arm of the samurai foot soldier, the ashigaru, the naginata, the weapon of the female samurai as well. How to use it to sweep the opponent's legs and cut the opponent from a distance. Learning pole arms teaches us how to use our entire body as one unit to deliver the strikes. All of these different buki, these different weapons, are again a lifetime of study, and they're really, really fun. So there's a quick look at this fantastic chart of the classical Koryu martial arts of Budo, the 9 different lineages, and Hatsumi's version of his take on the different martial arts of Japan. This is very daunting, very scary to people who don't understand it. And even me, so many years later, I still am always learning something new every day from this chart. There are so many dozens and dozens of really cool secrets and principles that you can learn by learning these basics of the martial arts. And a lot of different martial arts have a lot of these in there, different sections. Different martial arts specialize on different areas of this chart. This is a wonderful overview. It's enough for 20 lifetimes of study and knowledge, so you can never ever claim that you're bored with this stuff. How can you be bored when there's so much to learn? So find a school in your area that can teach you this. Find an instructor that's qualified to show you how to do this. Don't just collect it and buy it and put it on the wall. It will do you no good. You have to physically do it. This is not something that can be intellectualized. It has to be physically trained on the mat with a person or persons. So make sure you find a good instructor that can show you how to do this stuff. And then once you think you have it, slap yourself because you don't, and then go back and do it over and over again. Every time you cycle through these, you'll see new things. The depth of knowledge will increase. Your teacher's knowledge will increase. New people will come in. You'll have different ways of doing it with different body types, different ages of people. And then you add all the weapons in on top of it. You have a complete and powerful martial package that will carry you through life. So that is a quick look at the Tenchijin chart that we see on our wall here at many dojos around the world. I can travel to any country, and my fellow brothers and sisters who also have this teaching, we can just hop on the mat, go back to this chart and work on a principle together. And that's what Hatsumi did, that he's brilliant at, is he brought the world together. Hundreds of thousands of practitioners of the martial arts have studied this over the years, and they've come together and harmonized and become more friendly nation to nation because of Hatsumi's hard work. And we continue to evolve this into the 21st century. You don't want this to sit on a wall and collect dust. You want to get it out with your students, study it, debate about it, and use it, because our life is short and we don't wear armor anymore. We don't carry these weapons anymore. But there are things that I can use today in the 21st century from this chart that will literally save me and my family's life. Not to mention all the mental training we can do to make sure that we stay happy and healthy. Good luck, my friends, with this chart. You are going to have a blast with it. If you haven't already found it, it's never too late. Start today. Find one of these and then work through it with your school, or move and locate to our martial art here in Cincinnati, and we'll show you how to use it. For today, this is Mr. Norcross saying thanks for listening. I hope I didn't bore you too much with this, and I'll see you tonight on the mats. Have a great day, everybody.